For many of the 155 million Americans enrolled in employer-sponsored health plans, open enrollment typically begins in September and continues through the fall. Now, many people, however, underestimate the actual cost of specific health care services. Here to tell us more is Rebecca Madsen, Chief Consumer Officer with United Healthcare. So good to have you on today.
Thank you for having me here. Happy to be here.
Of course. So let's get started with the basics. What is the date when open enrollment starts?
So it really depends on your employer, but many people go through open enrollment in the fall. It usually starts around the September-October timeframe throughout the course of the fall. If you're a Medicare, if you're a senior, that starts the middle of October. If you have an individual exchange plan, that starts at the beginning of November. But many people going through it this time of year with the same objective: pick their health benefits for the coming year.
Okay, so the dates vary. Now, what should employers think about when they're offering these plans to their employees?
Yeah, employers should think about the basic stuff, but also a little bit more. So the basics: what plans, what carrier, what are the costs that they incur and that their employees will have to pay. But they should start thinking about more. Things like dental and vision benefits. Not super expensive, but a lot of value beyond just getting your glasses or cleaning your teeth. If you get an eye exam, you can find out if you have diabetes, for example. If you have a dental exam, we know oral health is linked to heart health. So those are great opportunities to keep your employee population healthy. Also look for things like wellness programs. Wellness programs keep the cost of health care low for the employer and the employee, but also a happy and healthy employee go hand in hand, so it makes a more productive workforce. So look for wellness options where people can participate in coaching, they can do health activities, they can go through things like fitness trackers and well programs, and that really helps your employees and it helps you as an employer.
Definitely. Now, assuming that the employer chooses, a great options for their employees, now there's a lot of things to choose from. What should the employees really consider when choosing their plans and their care?
Yeah, it's a great question, and there's so many things. A couple things that they can think about. The first would be changes. What has changed in your life? Are you expecting a baby? Are you healthier? Is your family healthier or sicker than they were last year? Take an assessment of where you are and what's changed. Do the same for your benefits. A lot of times we know 7% of people are fully literate in the healthcare terminology. That leaves 93% that aren't. They don't want to engage. We know one statistic that is just amazing to me is 1 in 4 people would rather do their taxes than go through open enrollment. So actually going through and taking the time to understand and go through the process of really looking at what's changed. Also look at the cost of health care. And there are different things that you can think about. The premium, that's the amount you pay every month. The copay, how much do you pay? $20, $30 when you see the doctor. And the last one to think about, deductible. It's a term many people aren't familiar with, but it's super important. It's the amount of money you pay before your insurance kicks in. So a lot of times people go to the doctor, they'll get a bill and they'll be surprised it was under the deductible. And then lastly, coverage. Is your doctor in the network? About 2/3 of people go out of network, don't even know that they are, and get a huge cost surprise. It's a lot more expensive. And same things with your medications. The drug benefit is the most used benefit. Look at what medications you're taking, your family is taking. Make sure they're covered under the plan that your employer is offering you.
Well, Rebecca, there really is so much to think about, and I think you make an important point. It's really not as difficult as people think. If you really just sit down, look at the options, think about what's really best for you, that'll really guide your decisions. And there's a lot to think about and a lot of information. If people want to learn a little bit more, where can they go for a resource?
Yeah, you're exactly right. There is so much information out there. One resource that we have is if you go to uhc.com, we have something called Healthcare ABCs. As it sounds, takes the information, makes the terminology simple, gives you tools and videos and different ways to walk through the open enrollment process that hopefully make it a little bit easier and a little bit simpler for people to go through.
All right, Rebecca Madsen, thank you for shedding a little bit of light on this.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Everybody else, stay right where you are. Morning Blend's going to be right back.